Hi, here's the story behind the reading blacksmith. Hear it from Andrew Carnegie himself in his autobiography, 1920. With all their pleasures, the messenger boys were hard worked. Every other evening, they were required to be on duty until the office closed. And on these nights, it was seldom that I reached home before 11 o'clock. On the alternating nights, we were relieved at 6. This did not leave much time for self-improvement, nor did the wants of the family leave any money to spend on books. There came, however, like a blessing from above, a means by which the treasures of literature were unfolded to me. And what was that blessing from above? Andrew Carnegie tells us. Colonel James Anderson, I bless his name as I write, announced that he would open his library of 400 volumes to boys, so that any young man could take out each Saturday afternoon a book which could be exchanged for another on the succeeding Saturday. In this way, the windows were opened in the walls of my dungeon, through which the light of knowledge streamed in. Every day's toil and even the long hours of night service were lightened by the book, which I carried about with me and read in the intervals that could be snatched from duty. And the future was made bright by the thought that when Saturday came, a new volume could be obtained. Wow, such love for books and reading. Books which it would have been impossible for me to obtain elsewhere were by his wise generosity placed within my reach, and to him I owe a taste for literature which I would not exchange for all the millions that were ever amassed by man. Life would be quite intolerable without it. Nothing contributed so much to keep my companions and myself clear of low fellowship and bad habits as the beneficence of the good colonel. And with high fellowship and good habits drawn from years of reading, Andrew Carnegie, from a working boy, became a steel magnate. And in 1904, he erected a monument to Colonel James Anderson, his benefactor. Here's the monument at Pittsburgh in the state of Pennsylvania. Below the reading blacksmith, the inscription reads, to Colonel James Anderson, founder of free libraries in western Pennsylvania. He opened his library to working boys, and on Saturday afternoons acted as a librarian, thus dedicating not only his books but himself to the noble work. This monument is erected in grateful remembrance by Andrew Carnegie, one of the working boys to whom were thus opened the precious treasures of knowledge and imagination through which youth may ascend. This is but a slight tribute and gives only a faint idea of the depth of gratitude which I feel for what he did for me and my companions. It was from my own early experience that I decided there was no use to which money could be applied so productive of good to boys and girls who have good within them and ability and ambition to develop it, as the founding of a public library in a community which is willing to support it as a municipal institution. I am sure that the future of those libraries I've been privileged to found will prove the correctness of this opinion. For if one boy in each library district, by having access to one of these libraries, is half as much benefited as I was by having access to Colonel Anderson's 400 well-worn volumes, I shall consider they have not been established in vain. And that's the story behind the reading blacksmith. Thank you for listening.